find it on my channel. And then once I tweet it out, we'll start out with the show. What I'm going to do this week is some Super Mario. Going to change it up from Street Fighter. I was getting a little tired of the Street Fighter, to be honest. Let me just tweet this out. Give me one moment. Alright, so just a little recap on where we're at in The Bachelorette. If you remember from my last episode, we talked about our hero, who is the show's antagonist, and his name is Luke P. Let me get this stupid tweet out. Alright. So our hero is Luke P. And he's being framed as the show's bad guy. If you recall from my previous stream, we talked about how the show wanted to present him as the aggressive one, the ultra-violent one, the predator one. You know, he's a very, your traditional-looking warrior Aryan type. And so clearly he's not supposed to win the show. And so this is why in my watching with my wife that I've slowly come to root for Luke P because the show is clearly designed against him. And the whole time he's not doing anything specifically wrong. He's just exhibiting the natural martial characteristics, that being the god Mars, that attracts the woman. And so the other male contestants have been having trouble with this because they keep trying to, oh, I'm not paying attention. They keep trying to present themselves as the sensitive one, the one who, can understand her feelings or let her have fun. And so Luke is clearly, challenging a lot of the modern standards or the modern understandings of what a man is supposed to do to court a woman, especially one who is Ms. Alabama. And so, in this most recent episode, what happened was Luke was not. I'm so bad at this game. I'm so sorry. I'll have to practice a little bit more Mario. But it's hard because I'm actually really into this show, which is kind of sad to say, but you also have to like find a middle ground with your wife. I can't just make her watch what I want to watch all the time. So, if we're watching something she likes, I definitely have to like find something to get out of it. So, where we're at now is in the most recent episode, the Bachelorette was on a date with another guy named Garrett. Now, during the date, Garrett and the Bachelorette had to get naked for I don't know what I'm doing. They had to get naked and do a sort of bungee jump off a helicopter. And this, when Luke P found out about this later on, this made him jealous. And this makes sense because the whole time I'm watching the show and I'm wondering how the heck could you participate in the show knowing that, the girl you're trying to court is making out with other guys or doing other things. So, you would think that they probably just ignored this or whatever, or like put their feelings behind them. Luke P actually didn't do that. He went and addressed it to the Bachelorette. I forget her name. I don't know why I forget her name. But anyway, he brought it up to her during her date and said, and he exhibited this sort of traditional masculine working class type of sentiment where he was like, look, I don't want you getting naked, with other men, uh, on television. I'm going to want you to meet my parents one day. That I don't want them to meet you knowing this stuff about you. Essentially telling her like, don't be a thought. You're just on a show. You don't need to treat it like, this is some serious situation that you need to, make a fool out of yourself. So he was literally just laying it down on her. All the other guys were trying to tell her like, "Oh, that's so cool you got naked. That's so like fun and like liberating of you." They were literally just saying some of the most cuckiest things. Just trying to make her literally trying to make her feel good. And that's the problem. They're complimenting her in all the wrong ways. And then Luke P excuse me, Luke P, our working class hero, our Chad, our martial hero, just does not give a fuck. Walks up to her and tells her like, "Look, I don't want you getting naked on television." And her first response to the her getting naked was that it wasn't sexual. Now this is such a sneaky like argument here. I was naked, but it wasn't sexual. Now this is the type of like, you know, the gray areas of these, these situations that the show likes to exploit to make these awkward situations, but you're supposed to accept it as normal. Like, yeah, that's what everyone's getting naked and bungee jumping off bridges, you know. It was it's a kind of a ridiculous notion when you think about it, how much the nudity is supposed to be normalized, even in the most obscure situations like bungee jumping. But the point is to create. I don't know why I did that. The point is to create a very sexualized female who is not going to be able to take part in some sort of long-term relationship, some sort of monogamous relationship. And so Luke P basically brings this up to her on their date, and again the night ends with a fight. Luke P is being cast as the bad guy. All the guys are mad that they don't get to drink and party because Luke P brought up the truth that she shouldn't be acting like a hoe. And it's funny because throughout the whole show now, and Luke P was able to get rid of his first real rival, which was the DC consultant. But now his new rival that's being sort of exhibited in the show is this black guy named Mike. And it's interesting what the show is doing because there's multiple motifs in which the black guy, Mike, is raising the Bachelorette over his head. And it's literally in every single scene in which there's a group date. And you would think it's like, innocent. Oh, he's happy to see her. He lifts her up. But the thing is that there are other guys in the group date. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. There are other guys in the group date. So the show makes it a focus, a point of emphasis to show Mike always lifting the woman up, the white woman up above him in front of the other guys. You see what I'm saying? The scene that is going on, and this happens so much that I wonder what African American audiences are thinking when they're watching this show, because if you're an African American, it seems like the show is telling you to like uphold the white woman. It's sort of like that funny meme of that Targaryen Game of Thrones chick. I've never seen the show, so I don't know. I forget her name, but the one where she's being lifted up by a horde of brown people or what have you. It seems like the show is really trying to focus on that imagery, really exhibit that imagery. And so right now the main competitor with Luke P is this Mike guy, and the show is very keen on when it shows Luke succeeding and when they show him not succeeding. Because there was an instance, now if you watch like the behind the scene, okay. Before anyone makes fun of me, yes, my wife and I do watch the behind the scenes video clips, but in the additional scenes that aren't shown on the cable televised episode are scenes in which Luke is actually succeeding. There's one in which he arm wrestles Mike and beats him. But in the show, he's always shown as getting scolded by Mike. Mike is teaching him how to be a real man. Man lets his wife show her boobs wherever she is. He's trying to be like, I'm the tough guy, liberal husband. I'll let her get naked whenever. Sort of thing. And it's kind of stupid. And the thing I like about Luke P is that, like, maybe even if the show is scripted, he's not playing it off scripted in the sense that a lot of the things he says are right. Like, a lot of these, the situations that they're being put in are being designed to basically make him look bad. And so I like Luke P. I like that, if you look around on social media with the Bachelorette, nobody likes Luke P. He is the least favorite. This is the one that most women don't want him to win. But when you compare him to the other men, he's clearly the most different. He's the one who's warrior-like. He's the one who's traditional, and he's the one who's uh, essentially not gonna take any crap from anyone. And this is a type, a personality type, a sort of male archetype that the mainstream media seems to have a problem with. This is why Luke is being cast as the villain, despite being, most guys are like him. Athletic, possibly good looking, but not necessarily the smartest. And so, what was interesting about the episode then is that they ended up having the rose ceremony. Now, the symbol of the rose is interesting. Just bringing back Mark Brahman up real quick. The rose is a symbol of admixture between Aryans and non-Aryans. And so the show is all about passing the rose on to the contestant who lasts till marriage. And so the host is Chris Harrison. So if you kind of put the dots together, this is clearly a show designed to essentially see, the inner workings of certain people's lives, personal lives, to essentially make fun of them. None of these people are gonna ultimately be praised as like actual cultural producers. They're just the minstrels. They're the actors. They're just people on a stage. And so it's important to understanding that it's important to root for people like Luke P in these competitions, because not only is he, designed to lose, but they want him to lose in life too. And so he has to be more aggressive, and he senses this. And so in the rose ceremony, uh, the final rose goes to Luke again. This is the third time in a row that he's the last person to receive a rose. And this is after another fight, so the whole group is wondering like how the heck is this guy still around? And one of the guys who was kicked off, they ask him as he's leaving like, why do you think she's keeping Luke around? Because everyone's in shock now. I mean, it seems like even the camera staff don't understand like why they're keeping her around. Like they showed this one scene where like some of the staff members pulled her to the side, were like, "Why are you keeping Luke around?" So it's something weird, whether it's designed. Again, it could be scripted, but at the same time, they're not going to script it to make the Aryan win. I mean, that's what we know that. So in this sort of competition sense, there's a little bit of freedom for the competitors and the contestants, so to speak. And so it seems like, the attempt to pull Venus away from Mars, to insert Mercury in between at the behest of Saturn, is not happening naturally. She is naturally attracted to the aggressive traditionalist asshole who's going to tell her like, don't get naked, we'll fight random guys. um, and then the show doesn't like that. The people making the show do not like that Luke is exhibiting these traditional characteristics, and B, that she is liking it despite the fact that it's causing so much tension in the house. And so Luke P ultimately is going to be the least popular character if you go around social media. He's definitely going to be uh, uh, the one women are going to tell her to run away from, because he's not going to let you have fun. He's not gonna let you sleep around. He's not gonna let you get naked. Sort of thing. And so it's clear that the woman is still attracted to Luke P because he is challenging her in ways that the other men are too afraid to do it. And the thing is she senses this. And so, going back to the contestant who got kicked off, he says that the reason why he thinks she's still the reason why he thinks that she's keeping Luke P around is because she's already in love with him. And so, which kind of sucks for the other guys if that's the case, because that means there's like 7 more episodes where they have to fight this guy for no reason at all, um, and and get nothing out of it. So they're kind of so the fear amongst the other contestants is no matter what they do to try to drive a wedge between her and Luke P, she's gonna pick him, and they kind of have to ride the wave out of the whole show, go do all the things, pretend they're happy or what have you. So that seems to be the overall fear going on here with the other group of men is that there's like 7 episodes left and she's already decided who she's going to marry. So she's just gonna, you know, have fun until then. So we'll see how this plays out next week. It looks like they're going to give Luke another male competitor. It looks like it's going to be competitive physically this time. Uh, and I don't know if they'll be successful. I don't know if they're going to be able to get Luke P away from the Bachelorette. Because, like, again, there seems to be something natural going on here. That no matter how many unnatural barriers they keep trying to wedge between them, which is becoming so increasingly obvious of what they're doing, the show, as in by trying to get the whole house to band together with against him, it's become clear that Luke P's gonna stay around, and this sort of unnatural interference and love is not going to win. The same people who say love conquers all, right? Love conquers all, are the same people who don't want love to happen between two healthy individuals. This is a sort of the ultimate paradox of these people is that those who call for love ultimately know no love. They don't want love for us. So yeah, this is my stream on The Bachelorette. I don't think I should do too much more. I'll find another topic to cover and I'll find a new game. If you guys have any ideas of what I should be doing, I'll or any other games I should play while we do this, just let me know. But you can also catch me on the War Report if I'm not talking about the Bachelorette or going off on tangents on Twitter. But thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys later.